everyone, and welcome to Gierok Farms. In today's video, we are going to be combining soybeans. It is time to harvest my soybeans. For those of you that don't know, it's my first year growing beans, so this is all new to me, and it's also my first year running a combine. So a lot of learning curves this year, but we're going to struggle through it together. I'm excited. It's a great day to harvest. It's a beautiful sunny day. The beans are drying fast today, or at least drying some. So to give you guys a backstory, if you haven't watched the other videos, recently purchased this combine here, this Case IH 1660. Got her home here on Friday. Today is Saturday. It is a scorcher out here. It's a 90-degree day. Started off this morning here, did about an acre getting this thing dialed in, and the beans were at 17%. So pretty high, but I want to make sure this combine is going to work along with my truck. So we're going to take off a couple more acres this afternoon, and then we'll let the back side of the farm, or the rest of the farm, dry for a couple more days. But anyways, we better hop in this thing, get it fired up, and hope she keeps running smooth. So thank you all for watching. Let's harvest some beans. I don't know how well the camera was picking it up, but we're still kind of plugging up in the center there. It's not as bad as it was this morning, but it's still not ideal. So I'm going to try to adjust that another time here and see if that helps us out or not. But it's manageable. I could keep going like this, and you know, by the time I hit a waterway, then I can stop and mess around and we get it done. It's just, I got time, so I should try to figure this thing out. Let's try it again. You guys stay out here on the header and let me know how it's doing. there, but still not great. So we're gonna try adjusting it more. Yeah, I think the hillside, you know, if I'm leaning back, it feeds in really nice, which makes sense. But still should be able to pull it in. So if you guys got any ideas, leave them down in the comments. I'll probably be done with beans by the time I figure it out, but there's always next year. Try to dump the first load of soybeans of my farming career. This is a big moment, pretty exciting here. Gonna see how this goes. It worked when it was empty, so we'll see how she works when she's plumb full of grain. Back in, we got maybe like 3 or 4 passes in the center here. Still playing around with this issue where it's bundling up in the middle. Looking for any recommendations when it comes to that. Been playing with my reel just to kind of let it fall and then grab it again, and sometimes I reverse the auger. A bunch of playing around like that. I'm sure that isn't good for all my components to be moving that reel all the time, or to be reversing and going back and forth, but I gotta make do. I gotta get it off, at least this front section of the farm, and then get to the elevator here before they close. It's Saturday, so they're gonna close a little earlier than normal, and we got about an hour and a half yet here before they close, and It's probably a good 15 minutes or so by car to get there. Try to leave a half hour before 5. Name of the game. Kind of cutting them at an angle here. That seems to help a little bit, I guess. Obviously in the really light beans, she doesn't do too bad. Keep working here, plugging away, try to get the crop off and get it to town here. I grabbed a quick sample as we were unloading there, and it looks like we're below 13% now, so hopefully that mixes well with our 17% beans. It makes sense too. That's up on the hill there. That's in the sunlight and the wind. It's not tucked in the valley, so it makes sense that that field would be pretty dry. So anyways, we're gonna climb up out of here once this cools off, fire up the truck, and get headed to town here before they close. We have made it to one of the local elevators. Had to set up an account quick, and now we're waiting in line. Talking to the guys running the elevator, it sounds like they were keeping up all day, and then they got a slug of trucks around that 4:30, 4:15, and then they kind of started to develop a line. So it sounds like everybody's kind of got the same idea today, where they had to let the beans dry until later. So it sounds like I'm in a familiar boat, I guess. Like I said, starting the day they were testing 17, and then ending the day they were testing 12 something out of my device there. So that's a big difference, but we'll see how that stuff in the valley turns out the next time we're back in the combine. We got to figure out how to get that to feed a bit smoother. That really slows us down, but otherwise can't complain too much about how this afternoon's gone. The main thing is things keep working and then we can keep progressing. So anyways, we'll be waiting in line here for a while, so I'll check in with you guys when we're headed out of here or back at the farm. All right, we made it back to the farm. I came right out back here right away with the truck to stage it back here for maybe a little tonight and for sure tomorrow. I'm I'm overjoyed with how well everything went today. I am so happy and excited. I'm feeling pretty grateful. There's still some fine tuning to do with that combine. Got to figure out how to make that header feed a little bit better, but at least we're moving. And it was nice at the elevator. Shout out to everyone there. They made it really simple and easy. It was cool. I really felt like I was part of the community unloading grain at the local elevator. Stats for the day. We averaged probably like 42 to 45 bushel depending on my acres there. If I had to guess, that's kind of, I'd be right in between those two. So just shy of 45 bushels, that ain't bad. I'm happy with that considering it's my first year and I didn't stick a lot of money at them. I didn't put a lot of herbicide on, one pass, not a ton of fertilizer. I'm satisfied. But I got a lot of work to do yet tonight here. I got to move the combine back here along with that header. I got to take it off, put it on the cart, so there's going to be some running around there. But fuel on, and then possibly play with that head yet if there's still some daylight left after all that. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for being part of the journey. It's been a blast. Remember, check us out, GierokFarms.com. Get yourself one of these awesome hats. Christmas is right around the corner. Before you know it, it's going to be here. But anyways, we will see you all next time.